Hey guys, like, hey guys, Mr. Joshua93 here. Well, I got a few of my friends from Phoenix Corps ready to raise hell with me. So please introduce you, my fellow.
What's up, people?
What's up, everybody? Phoenix Destiny here.
Shepherd44. Welcome to Phoenix Corps.
Okay, guys. So let's just say here we had a freaking. I'm just gonna say this quickly. We kind of took last time me, Slip, Case, and Phoenix Destiny were taking shots at freaking Namco Bandai for pretty much saying that us Americans are not worthy of Gundam games anymore. So, in my honest opinion,
they have cucked us for the last time.
I'm just gonna say this. I believe this should not have been the way it should have been. My honest opinion is they have so many game ideas instead of just giving us the whole thing over and over and over again. Do you guys have anything to add on that?
I got nothing.
No, because I want to be completely blunt with you. Bandai really hasn't given me much. They haven't given me any more ammo to use lately because honestly, they've been relatively quiet.
Well, the thing
But I know
is...
one thing though, I still am going to be pissed if they never find a way to localize either the extreme games that they released recently, or either Maxi Boost on or Extreme Versus 2. I mean, again, we have arcades in the States too, you know. Yeah, we don't go to them as much because we got, well, home games, but if there's one thing I've grown up from back from the 90s, it's I was an arcade man.
Ditto. Definitely love me some House of the Dead too.
And being perfectly honest, I feel like arcades do have, I don't know, it's something about the experience that you can't quite replicate with home gaming.
Exactly. Honestly, it brings back, that classic feel.
Because, well, I mean, I will fully admit right now, I have lost more than my fair share of quarters to a Miss Pac-Man machine.
I remember used to spend my freaking hard-earned quarters on Daytona.
Like I said, for me, it was straight up House of the Dead.
Also, and here's the thing, we're switching our focus from Bandai to Sony.
Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe I don't have any ammo on Bandai, but Sony. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Buckle in, everyone. Peace. This is going to take a while.
Okay, Sony, I understand that you originally started as a Japanese business company, but the way you've been treating your own people with games that was based in Japan, visual novels that pretty much think like, oh, let's just see, she's wearing a little loosely bikini, but you show a pretty much censored light, like she's being bathed by the sun of holy light. But the problem is, it makes the scene more eluded. I mean, sure.
Yeah. We're in the lead.
How can I also put this there? Do you guys have something to say on that behalf?
You know what? As a matter of fact, yes, I do. The thing when it's speaking about censorship, I want to say this. You guys are choosing not to appear in E3 this year, and I think I know why. You guys realize you screwed up with that Senran Kagura remake. Seriously, removing the intimacy mode. You guys removed what is one of the most enjoyable parts of the game. And it's all because you chose to listen to the Warriors instead of listening to your fans.
Um, Okay. Kai, do you have a bone to pick with Sony as well?
Honestly, I just think it's a shame they're not showing up at E3. It's just, it won't be the same without them.
Well,
But
since they're not showing up, I will say this on a side note. I already know Nintendo's going to take it, especially after that Smash Direct.
And also,
that's
here's
never
the
good.
oh, and here's the thing as well. Pretty much last I checked, when Fallout 4 first came out, Kai, you were pissed off that you guys couldn't get any mods.
I actually was, yeah. It was kind of a damn shame. It was just like, Xbox got mods. PC always has had mods. But when it came to PS4, like, Sony never could compromise. It was ridiculous bullshit. All because they wanted to save their fucking pride.
And
But in doing so, they were fucking over their customers.
well, and their pace, what they said was during their little, how would it say, their little their little press conference for mods, they stated that we can't support it because the gamers created IPs or mods content because their system's gonna handle it.
Which basically, the PS4 is built to fucking stand alongside the fucking Xbox One, correct?
It should,
More or less.
But the problem is they think, oh, it's just. If I do recall what Slipcase said a couple weeks ago, he said that, okay, yes, Sony could have just said, okay, yes, we don't have the capabilities to deal with, our console doesn't have the capabilities to deal with it. Problem was, they're just, like you said, they're too scared of their own pride.
You should never cut off your own nose to spite your face.
Well, to go back to
hurts.
the censorship of anime games, I can understand it. It's due to the West's different cultures. But the other thing I have to say is, you're pretty much telling anime creators go to different consoles.
All into formation. We cannot afford to lose.
You're pretty much telling Marvelous and any other game studios that has dealt with anime games just to pretty much say, we don't want to deal with you anymore because we're afraid that you're pretty much going to say, oh, you need a censor to cut out this thing, you need a censor that. Well, that's the reason why you're afraid of kids getting a hold of these games. That's the SRB rating. That's the reason why you should be following that rating system.
But there's just one problem with that, though. And I know I'm definitely going to get some hate comments for this, but you know what? I don't care what you guys think, so I want to say it anyways. It's because parents don't know how to do their kids these days. Seriously, we still have 8-year-olds playing Call of Duty, which is a bloody game that has lots of shooting. I mean, did I miss something here?
No, you did not. Like, fucking seriously. If you're the one buying the games for your kids, don't bitch when you find out, oh no, that has a bunch of blood and gore in it. Motherfucker,
Okay,
you
so-
knew that from the get-go.
Okay, so you know what? Let's just clarify this for a bit. So let me get this straight. So senseless on.
And also, here's the thing, I'm going to say this as a direct thing as well. Last I checked, there's a certain game, I don't know, called Mortal Kombat that started the entire SRB rating.
Oh yes. And the funniest thing is, if I remember from back in the day, they even had like censored versions of the game to where they didn't have blood. You had to input a code just to have it.
Okay, and I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story, okay? Okay, I was going to my local GameStop here, and this lady was pretty much, she was a Hispanic lady that barely spoke a little bit of English, broken English, and I pray her children were pretty much saying, "Buy this for me, mommy, buy this for me," and she looked at me like she didn't know what games put, and I pointed to the rating system and I said, "Ma'am, this isn't right for your kids." And she said, "What do you mean?" The M stands for slight loosely 18-year-olds. Which it does say that 17 plus, does it not, guys?
Yep, mature is 17 and up. Last I checked.
And you know there's that fabled A rating, right?
Yeah, but the funniest thing is, to date, they have not used that in any game.
Oh, they've actually because music. I'm gonna say this there, Phoenix Destiny. PlayStation has done this before, but they kind of do say, "Oh shit, we have a problem because different studios have different tastes."
That's very true.
Like, there is a extreme amount of stupidity running around the fucking gaming, like, basically the... I fucked up here. What I'm trying to say is basically, around the gaming industry, when basically, instead of basically, you know, listening to what their fans want, they listen to the assholes trying to fuck things up that don't even play the games. I.e., the fucking Warriors.
Which
And it's killing us. It's fucking killing us.
The thing is, and also the reason why Sony's not there this year at E3 is because they're moving their global offices to California.
I don't know. I still believe a part of it was because they knew they screwed up with the Senran Kagura game.
No.
Because that pissed off how many fans?
A lot. But dude, here's the thing. Well,
yeah, but I mean, it's a Yeah, but it's a game that just happened to toe the very issue of what we're talking about. As a matter of fact, Sony wasn't the ones that started first. There was another gaming company that did it, Steam. Because there was a well-known visual novel on Steam known as Nekopara that basically got the axe. Because that series is apparently considered a hentai. Yeah.
That's stupid as fuck.
Well,
interestingly enough, I'm going to say that in one of my favorite animes, they even touch in on this particular subject, even if it's just meant for humor, in one of the episodes of the anime adaptation of the Hyperdimension Neptunia game. Specifically, the Mysterious Light Shan, as they call it, in that episode.
Well, the problem is nowadays, it's just the censorship is they're trying to figure out what's working in the current day and age of the country.
Which apparently is the stuff that works is a bunch of uptight prudes that don't know how to have their own type of fun. So instead they gotta go ruin everybody else's fun.
Well,
pretty much.
And the only other thing that I would have to add to that is, I mean, okay, sure they could say, you know, well, I mean, surely there's other ways to have fun besides being perverted all the time. Look, the fact is, at the core of it, and the core of a lot of other problems
Hostiles inbound.
plaguing the U.S. that I'm not going to get into because that's a can of worms I don't want to open. There's this one word to sum it all up: hypocrisy.
Well, you remember that Nintendo used to have the friendly crap, right?
Yeah, and the funniest thing is, them of all people are actually... Okay, there was actually two Senran Kagura games that's not going to be released for the US. A pinball game and another one that's loosely like a visual novel. People that basically pay attention to Nintendo news will get what I'm saying. But honestly, those games are on a Nintendo console. Not to mention, let's think about this a little further. There's the Bayonetta games, which we all know how she fights, and apparently one of her vices, apparently she happens to get off of killing demons in battle. Yeah, last I checked, wasn't Nintendo family friendly when they had that on the Wii U? All I'm gonna say is, Nintendo has actually took a step in the right direction and actually realized what's about to happen. And the thing of it is, I mean, it's like, they're not saying, you know, we advocate this or this. They're just realizing people just want to have their vices in gaming. And I mean, as long as we're not, you know, like, physically hurting anybody, I mean, shouldn't that be enough? But apparently not. Not in the day and age that we live in.
Teammate out of the fight. Outpost lost.
The worst part is that at the end of the day, it's starting to feel like a plot from a rather obscure anime that not a lot of people will recognize, but I've watched it. It's an anime literally called A Boring World Where the Concept of Dirty Jokes Doesn't Exist. Or, as it's known by the Funimation dub, yes, it has a dub, believe me, Shimonetta.
I still need to see that. Oh,
Actually,
that's fun.
no, not Anna. No, I believe it was Ayame. Ayame's the ADIP. No, it wasn't Anna, because the thing is, I know who plays Anna. The thing is, the woman that plays Anna is quite possibly one of my favorite characters from Sekirei and from Fairy Tail. None other than Monica Real. And just so you know, Monica Real apparently can play the yandere trope well. Just as a side note. But anyways.
I like this chick.
Okay, Gears, it's your turn.
Team deathmatch. Time to work, Ghost Squad.
Are you sure Anna Nishiki Nomiya? That can't be. Monica Real is still alive, isn't she? You might want to reload that up, because I know she's alive. I met her at a con recently. Oh, her JP. Oh, why did you? Well, you should.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, first off, Gears. Once again,
We
you
got our
made
wires crossed.
Once again,
Shit happens.
Shit!
Gears. Okay, once again, Gears, you know for a fact I only go for the dub for a lot of stuff. I mean,
Oh,
look,
God.
the only exceptions I've made for sub stuff is Monster Musume, but that was before I found out they got a dub, so that went out the window. Akame Ga Kill I even liked when it was subbed, but that got a dub, so that went out the window. Literally, I think the only subs I watch now is... Actually, now that I think about it, I even watched Sekirei when it was still subbed. But it got a dub too, so... Like, honestly, if there is a sub-series I watch now, it's...
Excuse me.
Dang. I can't even think of one. Practically every sub-series I've watched eventually got a dub. Damn. I got nothing.
Okay.
Ow.
Get back on the thing with
I already played my matches, man.
right
Well,
now,
during RP season, man, I thought that's kind of what we did. Like, we try to get our individual stuff. But anyways, back to the topic. Blackwing.
Okay. The one thing I don't really like nowadays is, okay, you know how they're slowly bringing visual novels back up to the PlayStation on the US side, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, nowadays you pretty much got to worry about people saying no, we don't want it. But to go back to Steam actually told the SJWs, no, we have a right to post what content we want, as long as, because they did state we have a right to put what's on the store, as long as it's, because when you create the Steam account, they will literally ask you, what is your age?
You know what? That's absolutely right. Because I have a Steam account. They did the same thing for me. And matter of fact, a game I frequent on there is known as Honey Pot. But more on that later.
I knew a girl who was obsessed with that one.
Well,
Anyways,
and you know what
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead, music.
I keep interrupting. You know what? I'm just going to say one last thing, and then you got it from here on out. Well, honestly, I'm going to save all my nerding out for later.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say. Now continue.
But the topic at hand is, okay, yes, different countries have different censorship laws because they're afraid of what's going on. Parents, if you do not know what the SRB rating is, the games, the local shopkeeper will tell you what the SRB rating is, and they will give you what it will describe.
Enemy SATCOM spotted.
If it says E or E10, it's okay for children.
I would say even T-rated games is okay for children to an extent, depending on what the game is.
We're winning this fight.
But if we're going through like something, I don't know, like say Grand Theft Auto,
End game, instantly.
and Kai, if I do recall, you had a problem with a kid on one of your games, correct?
Remind me which time.
Okay, you were playing with us on Battlefield, and you had this little kid pretty much taunting you the entire match.
Oh god, yeah, that kid was like talking major shit for being in crusading distance.
And all I heard was, look at this quick scope, look at this quick scope.
At this point I'm just like, oh good lord. Wait, no, you're thinking of the wrong person. I think that was Jarrett.
Oh, slipcase.
Oh fuck. Sorry everybody. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
I mean, I do remember like one instance, like basically, yeah, where this kid like basically kept sending me weird ass messages, death threats, and all that, and I will admit, while not okay, I was mildly amused because it's like, you're tiny, go to bed.
And last I
Go tell
called,
mommy and daddy what you've done.
and last I checked, isn't certain, and if I recall, certain states you have a curfew for kids, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, they should.
Well, and also people, if you don't know how to keep your kids off the consoles, there's actually an Xboxes and PlayStations, and they do have a built-in timer into the system. And it's not that hard to set up.
Yep.
Yeah, they expect the fucking PS4 to babysit them. It's come to a stupid point where it's just like, dude, pay attention to what your kids are playing.
If there's one awkward thing I will say about that, it's this. Honestly, I'm actually glad I grew up in the 90s, because at least it meant I learned how to properly behave when it comes to when it came to things like that. Well, I mean, you didn't. Well, you said it early, so I'm
90s, my
like,
guy. Shit, you carry yourself much older than you actually are.
wait a minute. Hold up. You just said you were 17. How do you have a job right now?
Oh, dude, here's the thing. So, here's the thing, music.
I mean, last I checked, doesn't a lot of jobs usually require you to be older before you can start working?
No, as long as they... Actually, dude, here's the thing, music. Some states actually, all you have to do is have your parent and your school's permission to start a job.
That falls in line with what I remember about the. That falls in line with what I remember about the rules and regulations for a lot of stuff.
Well, and also the
Fuck
thing,
him up!
also to go back to certain things as well.
We're in the lead.
Sony, if you keep up with the nonsensical censorship of certain games, it's going to pretty much drive your customers away. And parents, please understand that, yes, the games might buy your kids some time, but nothing beats sitting on the TV with your family. And I'm the biggest offender of this, because because when I first get home, it's either I want to sit here and play games.
We've lost the lead.
So, I'm not gonna be just sitting here rattling on. So, in a sense, Nightfall, you guys got any ammo on Sony, or you're all out in the mag?
Well, let's see. I already said my bit about Senran Kagura. I already said my bit about E3. You know what? Just minor complaints, really, at this point. Sony, fix your notifications thing. It doesn't work all the time, even when you have display notifications when somebody enters a party or something. And another thing, why can we not remove people from message chat groups? Fix that. Seriously. Because sometimes, I mean, people don't want to be bombarded with all sorts of messages if it's from a harmful player. And I guess if there's one last thing I'd have to say, it's definitely this. Some of your games that have so-called blocked scenes, you seriously need to take another look at those and decide if they really should be blocked scenes or something. What I'm referring to is simply this. And actually, no, you know what? Now that I think about it, Ben, I just gave me another bullet that I remembered I was going to bash them about. I'm going to do this right now. Bandai, why is Gundam Versus and the Breaker series a block scene? Okay, arguably you could say, well, we have copyrighted music in it. Last I checked, it ain't that hard to make an original soundtrack. You did it for the American version of Dynasty Warriors. Why couldn't you have done it for the games as well? Because, okay, so maybe your fans might cry about, where's my favorite soundtracks? Last I checked, if people really were fans about that sort of stuff, they would go online and buy the musical discs from, oh, I don't know, every Gundam collection in existence, because that is an item that I notice you guys usually sell. Like, I don't know what a lot of titles are, so I could just say something like, it's something like the G-Sound Edition, the Gundam Anniversary soundtrack, the Unicorn Anniversary, whatever. Point is, you have soundtracks for every one of your animes, and I notice people will buy those if they really want to listen to music. But if they want to listen to battle music, then honestly, this might be just because it's what I do, but honestly, they should just listen to it from their phone. Sometimes I feel like it gets better sound quality that way anyway. But no, because the thing of it is, my complaint about this is, because those games are block scene, I can't stream them without a capture card. Because Sony basically put the block on it, thanks to you guys basically having issues about copyright. I mean, my thing about that is, as a whole, you guys literally have missed opportunity after missed opportunity in those games, because if you would allow people to stream them, something of which you're supposed to be doing, by the way, advertising your own games, which you don't do, your games would get a lot more publicity, and in turn they would sell more.
Oh, and by the way, Sony, this goes for every single publisher. I understand you guys always on a budget. Quit listening to your freaking quit listening to your freaking stockbrokers.
Because I believe I touched on this in another one of my streams, Blackwing.
Yeah,
and you were there too. The thing is, your shareholders are only going to bring you quick numbers. You might not think that they do, but it's only quick numbers, man, because last I checked, trends change. Just like the seasons and just like time, it changes. Because one game that's popular now could be popular no more after a certain amount of time.
And also another thing I recall as well is that, sure, nowadays people, their attention span is not as much as it used to be. So, because they want to, and another thing I want to say is, one, if you advertise a Gundam game once in a while like you did for the first, like you did back then, you would actually have a better chance of selling you the numbers. Oh, and by the way, this is going to
the thing is, okay, so yeah, if people's not paying attention to games these days, I mean, make them pay attention. Like, design games to be better, you know? I mean, of course people are going to get bored. We're always looking for new ways to have fun. I mean, isn't that supposed to be part of the whole creation and innovation thing? Or are you seriously too lost in your own numbers and paychecks to do that? Because all I'll say is this: if you're seriously that lost in your numbers, you are never going to hold a consistent fan base. And for those people that literally stay on while you're doing that, I have nothing but pity for them because they don't know the truth. So, pretty much to that, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You guys are monsters. You guys are monsters for what you do.
Well, the thing is nowadays, music, I think they're thinking about pulling out of the gaming industry because they want to focus on more of their movie productions because they want to, I don't know, beat Marvel.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Don't they realize that's essentially a losing battle?
Yes, but the problem is right now I'm not taking a shot at Marvel because I have more respect for Marvel. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
Yeah, I personally, I can definitely say we all personally didn't know the guy, but we knew him well. I mean, he was a creative genius. I mean, honestly, it's always a shame when good men died like that.
And also, another thing is, he did teach us life lessons.
Gentlemen, I apologize, but I need to leave you.
Alright, good.
Moment breaker.
Later, fellas.
But Stan Lee was a creative icon. Yes, but he was also a man that envisioned that he brought us so much wisdom, and he thought instead the typical good guy, bad guy type story. Like,
Actually, you know what? Let's elaborate on that a little bit then, since we're thinking about this. Like, you say the comics more or less. There's at least one out there for different types of people because it's supposed to be relatable. Like, what would you say is the type of people that can relate to Spider-Man, for starters?
well, let's see. Spider-Man is basically a very, how can I say this? Spider-Man is a
Awkward
very
teenager.
awkward teenager that has a lot of problems, and on top of that, he's a superhero that's trying to balance out that's the duality of what he is.
That's right, because wasn't a quote, in fact, from one of the movies, with great power comes responsibility?
Well, the thing is, music. Stan Lee actually redid the real line. It didn't say with great power comes great responsibility. It says with great power, there must come also with great responsibility. Not because that line's been used so much, it's crazy.
Time to work, Ghost Squad.
But it doesn't lose its meaning, because it's true. I mean, it's true in the message it tries to convey.
We're in the lead.
Pretty much, just because you got power doesn't mean you should use it willy-nilly. By the way, take a lesson from that, Bandai and Sony. I mean, what do you think we've been bashing you guys about for the past 15 minutes?
And
but anyways,
well, the thing is, man, guys, this is just more or less. I'm not trying to be a complete asshole. We did try to honor Stan Lee in his own thing, do a quick thing, but we're not trying to bring a departed, very respected man into the mud.
We're not. Like, honestly, he deserves better than that.
The first time I saw Stan Lee besides cameo was during the 90s Spider-Man animated series. But one of the lines he does, one of the lines that I hold dear to myself is that, so basically, does everyone remember Spider-Man 3, right?
Was that was the one with the Sandman in it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, as well, there, gentlemen, is that, yes. Basically, what he said was, I guess what he said, I guess a single person can make a difference in a person's life.
You know what, that is true, because I mean, so many stuff can come from a chance meeting. As a matter of fact, I'll take myself for instance. The fact is, before YouTube basically ruined it, I used to love Let's Playing. All because of one YouTuber, and he's rather popular too, that goes by the name of Chugga Conroy. That, actually not just him, but also Markiplier and Lost Paws. Like, I wanted to do entertaining videos like those guys.
And don't forget Jacksepticeye. I mean, his model is well,
I mean the thing.
His model is positive mental attitude.
I mean, the thing is, because of those guys, I got inspired to do videos. And I guess you could easily say, well, where's your resolve now? I mean, honestly, it's like I just said, YouTube basically sucked that away because of the way they've been acting lately. And if you're wondering why I'm not fighting harder for it, all I want to say is at the end of the day, I'll let them have their win, but only because I know at the end of the day, even if I continue to make videos, unless I could properly convey what I want to do in my videos, I don't even think that I'm fit to make them anymore. But that aside though, it ain't just him either. Like, I'll have to say one other person I met that definitely, or rather I have yet to meet, but I seriously do want to meet at some point in my life, is a well-known voice actor that goes by the name of Steve Blum. The thing is, I don't like him just... I seriously feel like he's an inspiration of how talented you could be by working with several types of roles across film and television industries. Because everybody knows him as the one of the original Wolverines. Vincent Valentine from Final Fantasy Advent Children. Tank Dempsey from the Call of Duty series.
And
Let's see, Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. Tom from Toonami. And many other roles, too numerous to count.
And not to sound ignorant, he has done other voice. Thing is, he actually was in a he was actually in a Gundam anime, but he was not in a main role. He was in a side character role. Basically, he was just a background character.
Hey, sometimes even background characters can still stand out if their roles are done right.
So Gears, is there any stay on topic with the any voice actors you want to meet? Just give us a roll.
We're winning this fight.
Is it Bosch?
Well, we already...
Well, there's a few
That's
actors
impressive.
I want to meet, but one of the person I want to meet the most, but due to his recent passing, I never will get the chance.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess at one point in my life, I probably wouldn't have minded, like, pretty much meeting Dan also.
Well, to tell you a quick story, music, he was actually embarrassed that he was actually he did say this. The only reason he came up with the pen name Stan Lee is because he was too embarrassed to write comics.
He was too embarrassed to write comics?
Back then, dude. Back then, dude. During the '60s, comic book writers were frowned upon. So after the few years, he actually did change his name legally to Stan Lee. But his birth name is Stanley Martin Bieber. So
A unique name for a unique man.
Well, anyway, that's just basically one of my thoughts on the great man Stan was. He created a plethora of characters. He is an inspiration for many a generation.
Good job. Report to command for debriefing.
Anyways, let's see.
And a thing is,
I unloaded all of my ammunition, and I'm pretty sure...
I got one more to say. For the people that pretty much, like, are not in the fans of anime, they're constantly thinking, like, oh, anime's just for shits and giggles. It's not. Some people take it seriously. Okay, Steve Blum, a few other voice actors, that's what makes them put food on the table. So, another way I'm just going to say this as well. If you guys thinking that you should ban anime just because it's not healthy for some people, what music said, certain voice actors need that job to put food on the table.
And on top of that, isn't a basic principle we seem to live on, you know, the whole majority rules thing anyways? So, if there's a few naysayers, don't listen to them, listen to what the majority's saying. Of course, I probably realize our words are wasted on you lot because you're just sitting back counting your money in your comfortable air-conditioned offices and heated offices for this time of year, pretty much silently wondering, who can I fleece next? All I want to say is this: I do not want to say what I think should really happen to you guys, because at that point, that's just ill intent, and I don't want to wish that on anybody, not even my worst enemies. So, the only thing I will say to that is, good job, guys. Way to alienate your fans.
And just one thing is, Sony, please get your shit in order. And we were hoping, and this is one more thing, I'm poking at Bandai one more time. Please quit holding back on your Gundam games. At least you're trying with that Legendary Picture Studio, with Legendary Pictures. I'll be seeing you guys. Well, this is Mr. Joshua93 signing off. Rock and roll, have a great night, and see you on the next podcast. Adios!